welcome to another video. My name is Rachel. I had to make this video today. This is about my spiritual awakening, and I had to make this because I was cleaning out a closet and then I was cleaning out a notebook and I found this script that I wrote and it says, first YouTube, spiritual awakening. So I thought that this was going to be my first YouTube video. I wrote out a script for it. It's so cute because I think it's going to probably last like 3 minutes, but I've never really talked about my story of how I got to this place, and I really truly am a completely different person than I used to be, and I think it's just the most crazy, wonderful, magical, frustrating journey. Ignorance is bliss. Okay, so I'm just gonna read my script to you and then we'll just talk, but it's so cute. Okay. I've been hibernating in more ways than one, and now the sun's out. And I'm seeing that people are needing to see more weird out there. People need to see me be myself. I kind of keep my spirituality close to me. When did I write this? I'm not hiding it, but I'm not putting it out there too much either. This past week, it has become so apparent that all of these new people waking up are everywhere, but everyone is so afraid to talk to each other because it all sounds so crazy. I'm okay with being the crazy one, and here's how it all started. Last spring. So this happened to me in, I'm pretty sure this was 2018. Pretty sure. It's crazy that I don't know. I feel like this is a date that a lot of people like grab onto. I don't know. I know it was on a Friday. I know it was in like March or April, and I'm pretty sure it was in 2000, what did I just say, 18? So I wrote this in 2019, 2 years ago. Last spring was a time when there was a lot of energy waves hitting the earth and helping to raise the consciousness. I believe this is what helped me along. One Friday, I was scrolling on Instagram, and there was a video clip shared by one of my friends of Phil Good talking about beings he almost described as machines that we can't see, who feed off of negative energy that humans put off. Now, I thought this was really out there, but I was intrigued. I found it intriguing enough to lead me to click on his page, watch more videos, and eventually find his YouTube. 10 hours later, I was sitting on the floor, tears pouring down my face, and my entire life up until that point suddenly made sense. I finally had my eyes opened. I knew exactly who I was, what I was here for, and understood the secrets of life. That's how I felt at that moment. Not to say I know everything, because I don't. We are always constantly learning and following breadcrumbs, or as my friend Sunny calls them, light crumbs. And there are always more mysteries to uncover and things to learn from. But I felt like I could zoom out of the daily life we got caught up in and see things from the cosmic big picture. I felt like I had the tools to take control of my life. I understood that the most important thing is loving other people. Whoa. I wasn't expecting that at all. Dude, what is going on? I felt like a completely different person. I went to a mirror and stared at myself, not believing I could look the same after feeling so different. I remember being in the mirror. I was like physically touching my face. Like, what is going on here? I didn't know how to talk to people anymore. Things that used to be so important to me no longer had any appeal. It's kind of a difficult thing to explain, but I feel like anyone who has had their awakening has had these exact feelings before. So when I say I didn't know how to talk to people anymore, I literally, I remember going into work and people were just acting the same as they had always acted, obviously. And but I could see them complaining about something. Why are you putting your energy into creating more negative things? It blew my mind. And at the same time, I didn't have anything to relate with them about. I started giving all of my makeup away. Because I used to be so obsessed with skincare and makeup, and I still enjoy it. And now that I'm down my journey a little bit, I am picking up more on the things that I left behind. But at first I was all in, forget everything else. And this stuff doesn't even matter. It's so obvious that it doesn't matter. And I just had an overabundance of makeup because at that point in my life, I think I had 5 subscription boxes to makeup and skincare and all this stuff. So I just took it all into work and said, oh my God, I just dropped my crystal. Oh my God. I think he's okay. But I remember one of my coworkers coming to me and being like, what is wrong with you? And I was just I just don't need this. I just don't need it. So it's been a little over a year. Back to my script. So it's been a little over a year. My life looks 98% different than it used to. And I am in this amazing, loving, thriving place that I am so grateful for. I am meeting more and more people every day who are going through these things and thinking they are alone. You are not alone. I love all of you, whoever you are, and I'm sending you so much light. Thank you for being here. So expanding on that a little bit, starting at the beginning, what could the beginning really be? I had been wearing crystals for a little bit of time, constantly every day. And then I went from being in a job where I was being sexually harassed. I had a 45-minute commute. It was just, and I was being paid very little money. And I started wearing lapis every day. And I ended up finding a job 3 minutes from my house for more money with all women, well, pretty much all women, but it was just such a nice positive shift for me in life. And shortly after starting to work there, I decided to go on this silent retreat by myself. I found this cabin in the mountains that was on I don't know, hundreds of acres of land up this mountain behind a private gate. And it was an off-grid cabin with solar, and it had a huge garage door in the front, and you could just open it and you were just in the mountains. It was so quiet and peaceful, and I remember how quiet it was because I remember being scared to death that there was a bear coming to eat me at one point, because I heard this noise, and the noise was a squirrel moving through leaves. It sounded so loud because there was nothing else out there. And I was very aware that I was in the middle of nowhere by myself, and it was, the first night was rough. And I'm afraid of the dark. And I don't know, I just needed this trip. And I went there, and I spent my first day there, I think I spent it outside naked, laying in the sun and reading a book by Sybil Leek. Actually, I'll never forget the experience of me reading that book. Everything about that trip was very, very magical for me. And at the end of it, I ended up getting this tattoo that I have, which I think is pretty cool because it's crystals in a crystal ball. So like, you know, you use crystal balls to see the future. Crystals were in my future. I think that's cool. And getting this tattoo was like the best tattoo experience I've ever had, ever. And when I was on that trip, I actually was thinking about, I had made the decision that when I got back, I was going vegan for 2 weeks. I was just going to do 2 weeks as like a cleanse. And what led me to that was a YouTube video where this girl showed what she ate in a week as a vegan, and it was very sped up so that it actually caught my attention. It kept my attention, and she showed all of her meals for an entire week, and I was like, oh, I could do that. I could do that. I could do that. So I went on my alone trip. I came home and I went vegan for 2 weeks. And I knew before the 2 weeks was over that I could never go back. I felt so good, not just physically. My energy felt so good, and I felt so good spiritually, even though I hadn't had my awakening yet. I felt so much lighter, like energetically lighter. I just knew I could never go back. So I never got to say goodbye to like cheese or anything, which is so sad, but here I am. I've never cheated. I've accidentally eaten a few things, but it was a decision I made, and it was like, there is no cheating. Like I don't eat that stuff. No, get it away from my body. So this was in probably like October-ish that all this was happening. So November, December, January, February, March. So 4 to 5 months later is when I had this spiritual awakening. And I'll never forget that day. Like, I'll never forget, it was rainy. I was home alone. I remember being in the upstairs bedroom and having the window open. I was listening to the rain, and I was watching these YouTube videos on the TV. And I was just pulled in by what he was saying. So feel good, but also specifically, he did this series of videos with Sarah Delane, and something about them together and their energy together and what they were talking about. Like, what? And one of the things that did it was, in a moment when they weren't even like teaching, they were just bantering with each other, they said something about channeling. And I realized I have been channeling my whole life. That was the big like whoosh that started it. Because like my whole life I've given such great advice. I'm the person growing up that people would come to and talk to about anything. And I specifically, when I'm giving good advice, it comes out kind of fast. And if my train of thought is broken, I can't get back there. Like if people interrupt me, they're like, what were you gonna say? I'm like, I have no idea, because it wasn't my idea. I was just channeling it. And when I realized that I've been channeling all of these years without knowing it, it helped everything from my childhood beliefs kind of be broken away. Because growing up, I always had questions about religion. Did not make any sense to me. I grew up very religious. But from a very young age, I had so many questions. I had so many problems with so many things, and nobody had the answers for me. And, being told that like psychics are bad and astrology is bad and this is evil, being really young, having that kind of like magic inside of you and being told that it's evil, you can only begin to imagine what that does to your psyche. But also, you're probably going to push it down and ignore it because you're in this environment with the people raising you who are telling you this is what's good and this is what's bad. So then, going through my whole life being strange or weird or never really fitting in anywhere, like all of a sudden I realized that it's okay to be me and that I'm actually really cool. Like, there's nothing evil about me. I have like powers. And so that realization is what, that was the like kick me in the head moment. But then also everything else they were saying in like a teaching way had sucked me in, and I learned so much. It was literally 10 hours and I was just crying and crying, and I think so much of that was like release and also relief. Like I was free. And then I just dove headfirst into a spiritual practice after that. I would start getting up every morning and I would start my day with this one certain essential oil that I have. And I would go out on my porch at the time. I would watch some spiritual videos of teachers and stuff. I was just trying to absorb everything that I could. This was all so fascinating to me, and I felt like I was like home, and I just wanted to know everything. And so I would watch my videos for a little while I was doing yoga. I would do like stretching and watch these videos, and then I would meditate. And then, like I said, I realized that all of the old stuff didn't matter, and I realized I can't gossip about people. That's not good. Like it was, I don't know, it was like a vibrational thing where everything was just different and so many things didn't resonate with me anymore. So, and then diving into the spiritual practice, and then, so that's springtime. That summer is when I got Moldavite for the first time, and that kicked everything into even higher gear. After that, I started working at a crystal shop, a metaphysical shop, and that's where I learned about even more about crystals and gridding and tarot. We had so many tarot and oracle decks in there, and I got to experiment with everything and meet so many cool people and teachers, and people would come in and just give me advice, like the advice that I needed that day. It was such a magical, synchronistic time in my life, and it all pushed me to be who I am. I went through an intense period of, I was obsessed with opening my third eye. So I stopped bleaching my hair because I had like blonde hair for a while, but I also like pink hair for 5 years. I love colorful hair, but I decided I was going to go all natural, everything. I needed to detox everything out of my body so I could open my third eye. So, all natural toothpaste, deodorant, and make my own lotion. I stopped wearing nail polish. I stopped bleaching my hair. I still don't wear nail polish. I still don't bleach my hair. And over time, with a lot of things, I have opened up all of my gifts and abilities quite a bit. And that makes me even more out of touch with regular life because I don't see things the way other people see them. The timing of this, finding this and doing this video is actually a little bit crazy. And I'm getting goosebumps now that I'm thinking about it because I didn't think about it until just right now. Last night, I had this new information come to me about my life. And it's almost like today is the first day of the rest of my life, knowing what I know now. My purpose is getting just clearer and clearer. Like the overall purpose is there. But like fine tuning into that is just becoming more and more and more and more. I hardly have any friends anymore. I don't enjoy doing maybe any of the things that I used to enjoy doing besides like artwork and creative things like that. My life couldn't be more different. And I think it's about to change again, like a lot. If you're going through any kind of spiritual awakening, let me just say this. Work with nature instead of working against it. Don't try so hard. You can't mess this up. You're here for a reason. Everything is happening to you for a reason. You already wrote this story. Now you just have to lean into the energy and accept it. You can go with the flow, or you can try to swim against the current. You're going to end up in the same place. I really believe that. You're not crazy. There's no way to explain or for everyone to understand the magic that goes on inside of our bodies, inside of our consciousness, inside of our minds. It's truly incredible what we have inside of us. Truly. And the most important thing is loving other people. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see you all next time.